Principal and witness tampering. I don't think you hear that too often, right? Well, let's explore what exactly is going on here. So on March 24th, Tinoco, his full name is Rafael Tinoco, was arrested and charged with witness tampering. And allegedly what's going on is that there was an ongoing investigation the police department was conducting, and he told a witness, a prospective witness, and I'll get into what I mean by that, a prospective witness in the investigation to not say or say something for some sort of benefit. What does that mean, right? Well, before we get into it any further, I'd like to break down for you all what the rule is for witness tampering. When you look to the section, it's Texas Penal Code 36.05, and this section provides the rule. Any person with the intent to influence the witness he offers confers a benefit, some sort of exchange, right? He has to offer this other individual, he or she, has to offer this other individual some sort of benefit in exchange to testify falsely, to withhold any testimony, information, document, or thing, to elude legal process summoning him to testify or supply evidence, to absent himself from an official proceeding to which he has been legally summoned, or to abstain from, discontinue, or delay the prosecution of another. Those are the basic 5 things of what this statute can apply to. But not only does it apply to someone that confers a benefit, it can also be that someone that coerces, essentially threatens, or makes you feel like you're going to get hurt in exchange for not testifying or testifying falsely or refusing to go to testify, things like that. That is how this rule applies. So understanding how that rule works, now we go back to the facts. You've got a principal, and this principal is being charged with the tampering of witness. The allegation is that at some point while the police department is conducting their investigation, this principal told someone, a prospective witness being someone that may testify in a judicial proceeding, such as a courtroom, things like that. He may have influenced a prospective witness through a benefit, right? Some sort of exchange, or he may have coerced this potential prospective witness to not testify or testify falsely, things like that. That is essentially what's going on here. And if we were to look to the article published by the Monitor, law enforcement arrested Hidalgo Early College High School principal Rafael Tinoco on Friday on charges of tampering with a witness. Police escorted Tinoco from the campus to the department Friday afternoon. Hidalgo ISD is in full cooperation with the police department. As this is an ongoing investigation, the amount of information that is shared with the public is limited. Now, there's the key takeaway from that quoted matter that I highlighted for y'all. An ongoing investigation. What that does is it lays the foundation for this entire witness tampering aspect. What ongoing investigation are they talking about? Because it's not necessarily something that the principal's being charged with, right? Well, that's where this other individual comes in. His name is Monty Stumball. And allegedly, what he's being charged with is assault. Not aggravated assault, nothing like that. It's just assault, the misdemeanor level. And the allegation against him, and we'll pull up his article, reads like this. The police arrested Hidalgo ISD athletic director Monty Stumball on Friday and charged him with assault. Police took Hidalgo Early College High School principal Rafael Tinoco into custody Friday afternoon. Okay. Now, they go on to talk about how the impact he's had in the high school, and then what they say is, again, that boilerplate language of Hidalgo ISD is in full cooperation with the police department, as this is an ongoing investigation. The amount of information that is shared with the public is limited. An interesting takeaway from this article is right here when it says, in November 2022, Superintendent Xavier Salinas confirmed to the Monitor that Stumball had been placed on administrative leave, but denied reports of some kind of physical altercation. Okay, so the school had already denied some sort of physical altercation in this matter. And actually, I skipped the very important part. So if you look at the line right above that, it says, KRGV reported that Stumball's arrest follows an administrative investigation into a complaint made against him by a parent and student from Tinoco School that cleared him of any wrongdoing. Okay, so an administrative investigation? Interesting. At some point during this entire investigation, whether it was prior to the police involvement or after. It's not too clear, right? We don't have a specific timeline as far as dates go. But there was an administrative investigation going on internally with the school, which I'm assuming was either enforced by the Board of Trustees or carried out by the principal, Tinoco, as part of his duties. The reason why I say that is because in the Texas Education Code, it actually provides that principal, being the leadership of the school, has a duty to not only maintain that leadership from a disciplinary aspect, but also to make sure that the rules of the trustees are carried out in the fashion that they need to be. This is typically done, the rules are typically laid out in the policy book, the handbook of the teachers have, as well as the students have. They probably have different handbooks, but I wasn't able to get my hands on that, so I don't know specifically what his duties are. But that's what that tells me from reading that. The administrative investigation. Tinoco may have been just investigating this, but we don't know because, like this article says, there's very limited information. I'll tell you what, guys. This article was actually released on the 24th, like I've said, and I actually found this very interesting piece on Facebook, of all things, published by 710 KURV, the Valley's News or Talk Station. Now, I'm relying on what they've put here because what they're putting here, they're saying that they got from Channel 5 News. Apparently, Channel 5 News was able to get a hold of the affidavits that were the arresting affidavits for both Tinoco and Stumbaugh. And if we were to go through it, the takeaway for the witness tampering boils down to what Tinoco was telling a coach. Apparently, like the article says here, Tinoco made a request that a coach change his statement that led to the witness tampering. At some point, whether it was after the incident, it had to have been, right? So, I mean, you can't do it before the incident, right? Because it's not like he knows. but whether it was, not whether, sometime after the incident, he's essentially, the allegation is that he told the coach to change his statement. What he was telling him to change it to, I don't know. Oh, it says right here. Okay, so then Tinoco then met with a coach who witnessed the incident and asked him to say that another coach was also in the locker room. Okay, he asked him to say it, and that's what the affidavit says. If you go back to the rule, though, remember, it has to say, well, it has to meet the elements, right? So it may, I mean, what that tells me is he's probably asking him to testify falsely, right? Okay, so we know number one applies. But go back a bit, and it has to be with the intent to influence, either to confer benefit, right? So he either conferred some sort of benefit. Okay, hey, I'm asking you to do this, and in exchange, I'll give you $5. I don't know. Or he's coercing him. So it's like, you know, if you don't change your statement, I'm gonna go fire you, man. I'm gonna get rid of your ass. Oh, I don't know about that, right? But he's gonna say something like, I'm gonna get rid of you. That is that element that we don't have. Obviously, the evidence, we don't have it yet. Well, we don't have it, period. I don't know if I'll ever get it, but we don't have it. So it's interesting. That's the ambiguity that's there. We don't know what benefit was conferred or what coercion was used by Tinoco. Then you go on to Stumbaugh. And what it also says here in the article is that according to the document, Stumbaugh had grabbed the 14-year-old soccer player by the back of his neck and pushed him forward like that. He's like, hey, get your ass over there. Okay, guys. I'm not justifying any of this, okay? But for us guys that have been a part of football and everything, I mean, I'm not going to say there was ever assault on there, right? But we all know what's up. Things get rough out there, okay? And it's not like, I'm not even going to get into the whole political and how people are sensitive nowadays, specifically all these Gen Z kids, you know, that feel so entitled and whatever. I'm not even going to get into that. And also how they're, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm not going to get into that. But the idea here is that you've got the coach who's probably coaching in the middle of it, or was coaching. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't coaching. It's a soccer player, and this is a football coach, so he probably wasn't coaching. But something happened that incited this, whether it was the student or player talking up to the coach, or whether the coach did it for no reason. We don't know. But apparently these arrest affidavits were enough to, number one, charge Stumbaugh with assault, and number two, charge Tinoco with witness tampering. Go figure. You'd be very surprised on how little information the state actually needs to prosecute anything against you. So if it ever happens to you, you know who to call. Anyway, now going back to the administrative investigation aspect, if we were to have a timeline, an accurate one, and I don't want to make one because I have no dates other than the November date of the administrative investigation, I have no other dates. But let's just say for the purposes of trying to find out what's going on here, if we were to see that the administrative investigation happened before the police investigation, right? Now, obviously, the principal, Tinoco, having the duty to do an investigation and him talking to coaches and whatever he told coaches to say a coach was here or whatever, it may have been in furtherance of this administrative investigation. What he was trying to do with that, I don't know. If you know, you can tell me or message me or something. But I don't know. But nonetheless, he is doing his duty. And the important thing about that is when you're doing your duty, you're not just a regular layman asking questions or trying to find out what happened. You're a principal trying to figure out what's going on. And why is that important? Because the Texas Attorney General has already laid out guidance for this. Principals have a duty to report criminal activity that they reasonably believe has occurred on the premises. Now, there's a shall element to it, and the whole shall thing is you shall report very serious crimes such as aggravated assault. Like I was telling you, how I made clear earlier that it wasn't aggravated assault? Well, he didn't have to report that. Now, there's other factors to it. And the interesting thing, when you look to the school criminal handbook provided by the Attorney General, there is one serious crime that may have been involved here. And I don't even know if I should, because I don't know. But it says whenever a crime involves a child. And under the code, a child is someone that's 14 years old or younger. So interesting enough, Tinoco may have had a duty to report this, and maybe he didn't. I don't know. I may have just uncovered something that nobody was aware of. But yeah, the fact that the affidavit has said it's a 14-year-old, Tinoco may have been required to report this. I don't know whether he did or didn't. Maybe he did. I don't know. I'm just saying, let's say for this purpose he did do it or he didn't do it. Whatever. I don't know. But yeah, that's what it says. And that's directly from the Attorney General, and that's the guide that it gives. Now, guys, at the end of it all, what effect does this have, right? When you go down to the policy behind witness tampering, the idea behind all of it is to make sure that we have a system that's just. We have an integrity. You have the ability, because keep this in mind, guys, this witness tampering applies not only to the state, but to the defense. So you can't go and force people that testify on behalf of a defendant for his innocence. You cannot confer a benefit or force them or threaten them to testify for your favor. That can actually be considered witness tampering as well. So when you understand that, the policy behind this is really just to make sure that we get as fair of a trial as possible, right? Now, integrity is a huge thing. And for those of you that understand what that is, as being as a professional as well as someone that's in business, your word is a big thing. And when you have witnesses that can potentially testify that may deem you innocent or guilty, you need to make sure that that person is an honest, credible person and that there is no tampering involved. I'll be showing you all a little map at the end of this so you can take some time to look and see who exactly that we know the parties are involved at this point. I'll make it super simple so you guys can understand and follow along. And I'll tell you what, the more that this gets publicized, maybe I'll make another video to find out if the map should be updated or if it shouldn't, right? But we'll see. Stay tuned, guys. And as you know, law beyond the obvious, baby. Out.